What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Watchtower podcast, the non-Jehovah's Witness Watchtower podcast. Glad you guys could be here. Glad you guys can join me for episode 129. 129. This is Smart Island. Smart Island. Yes, I don't know how many people have heard that term before. It's kind of become a new thing the past couple days, and it is involved with the Maui fire. And yeah, we're going to be talking about some of that stuff because I'll tell you what, it's been some suspect information coming out, and it got on my radar, and it's time for me to go to work on that. So we're going to be talking about that, along with some other stuff coming from DARPA, ARPA-H, brain, dream stuff, and everything in between. We'll be talking about all that, but if you guys haven't been here before, this is what we do on Tuesdays and Saturdays on the, again, non-Jehovah's Witness Watchtower podcast, is we take a look at all the different signs that points to the return of the Lord Jesus Christ, at least the opportunity for us to get raptured out of here before all hell breaks loose upon this earth. And so I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So glad you guys could join me today. Glad you guys are here. And yeah, so before we get into everything, I want to go ahead and get you guys involved. You guys are chatting up a storm right now. We'll just pick a spot. Again, if your name doesn't come up, it's not that I don't like you. It's just there's too many people, and we'd be here all night. So let's just start here, because I don't know if I've seen this name before, and if I have, I apologize. I'm terrible with names. I forget them all the time, but welcome, Megan. Glad you're here. Glad you guys could join us. Glad you could join me. That's great. Pam Praise is here. Hopefully you're still praying. Like the Bible says, do not cease praying. So Goodyear. Wow. Glad you're here. There we go. Already starting out tongue-tied. This is going to be interesting. Looks like Keto Mama is here as well. Good to see you, Keto Mama. Looks like we've got Carly as well. Good to see you, Carly. Glad you're here. Beautiful. And by the way, guys, you guys might want to say congratulations to Carly. I heard that she did get engaged last night to a pretty cool guy, so you might want to wish her congratulations. Looks like my mom is here as well. Good to see you, Mom. Glad you are here. C-Long, what's going on, C-Long? Glad you're here. What up, brother? Matt is here as well. Good to see you. Barbara R. as well. Good to see you. Looks like Joanna Wallace is here as well. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday. Kimberly Ann as well. Good to see you. I think I saw that you're requesting some prayer for your dad. So if you guys can keep Kimberly, keep her dad in prayer, that'd be great. Looks like Pam is here as well. Good to see you, Pam. Coco, it's always good to see Coco. Just waiting to go home so you can have that pizza tree. I know you are. We got Pamela as well. Good to see you, Pam. We've got Foxy Fair and Peach, as well as Hannah and Val Halloran. Good to see you guys. Can't get to everybody, but it is fantastic to see all of you here. Hopefully you're having a good week so far. Again, I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to go home. That's for sure. Ready to go home. All right. Now that we're done with the pleasantries and whatnot, we're going to go ahead and move on into just a tad bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
No, thank you. Sleeping.
Housekeeping?
All right. So for housekeeping, not a whole lot. Don't really have a lot of announcements the past couple of weeks, but it's pretty much the same old today. If you guys can, like, share, subscribe, get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views. It's not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people and getting people to Jesus and Jesus to people. That is why we do this. That's what we need to focus on right now. That's what we're called to do in this blessed generation that we're in. So if you guys can, like, share, subscribe, it does help get it out there for those people, as well as, wow, I am really going tongue-tied today. As well, if you guys can, there we go, follow me, Rumble, Odyssey, Telegram. Rumble is my backup streaming channel. When the boot comes from YouTube, I'll be back. I'll be streaming over there. Odyssey is their break if in case of emergency type of deal. Hopefully we never have to use it, but it's there. And then Telegram for anything in between. I post a bunch of random stuff on there. Actually, it was Saturday. I tried to post a GIF about the rapture twice, and every time I would post it, Telegram would change it to something else. So I don't know what was going on with that. So I just decided not to post it. And yeah, I don't know. Telegram was acting a little weird in that moment. So, but anyways, besides that, if I do get booted off YouTube, I'll let you guys know on Telegram, as well as I post a bunch of other stuff as well. So follow me there if you would be so kind to do so. All right, I think that's it. You guys ready? Tuesday. we always start out with some natural events. We keep track of trends as far as what's going on with earthquakes as well as volcanoes. We don't go in depth. I'm definitely not a meteorologist on that front. But we just keep track of some larger earthquakes as well as what's going on with how many volcanoes are actively erupting. As we know, birth pains will be coming and are here, and we will see an increase not only in size but frequency of these things. And so we just keep track of the trends. So this past week, as far as larger earthquakes, we had a 5.7 in the South Sandwich Islands, 5.5 in Ukungi, Tanzania, 5.9 in Hihifo, Tonga, 5.6 in Agat Village, Guam. I was going to say Ghana, but no, Guam. 5.8 in Cristobal, Obregon, Mexico. I don't know if I got anybody from Mexico. Let me know how bad I butchered that. Then there's a 5.8 in Misuwa, Japan. 5.7 in Kandrian, Papua New Guinea. 5.9 in Prince Edward Islands. That's just south of South Africa. And then a 6.1 in San Jose Village in North Mariana Islands. That's pretty much all the big ones that we got going on. So nothing too extravagant going on for the past month or so, I'd say. A couple big ones, but nothing really huge. As far as volcanoes, we've got 43 volcanoes actively erupting. We're down 2 from last week. So we've got 8 in North America, which that's adding 1 from last week. 6 in South America, which is, they lost 1 from last week. 1 in Europe, 3 in Antarctica, 4 in Africa, they lost 1 there. 13 in Asia, and 8 in Oceania, they lost 1 there. So we're down to 43 volcanoes actively erupting right now. Okay. And that is your weather report for this week. All right. You guys ready to talk about this Maui fire that's been going on? Oh, boy. Just, if you guys haven't, I just want to start out with this. Be praying for those in Maui that have been dealing with this. There seems to be, I'm not going to say that there is, because you guys know me. I like to deal with facts. I don't like to do the speculation thing, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be dealing with what we do know and whatnot. And so it just seems like there was some foul play that how this started and what the deal is behind it. So if you guys have been looking, there has been a ton of information going on about the Maui fire. I've been sifting through and trying to confirm things. So what I'm going to talk about today, as far as this goes, is the things that I can actually confirm. I'm not going to start going into, well, this person is saying this and this information is getting passed around this. If I can't verify that, if I cannot confirm that, I'm not going to put it in this today, because I want to make sure that we're getting what I can verify, and I'm going to show it to you, what I have found. And there, like I said, there's some suspect stuff going on with this. And so we're going to be talking about this, and we're going to start right here. We're getting a lot of generic answers as far as what started the fire. They're saying that they cannot confirm anything, and we're getting things in the news as far as it's fire weather season because of climate change, power lines. We're seeing the thing getting passed around about the direct energy weapon stuff. We're seeing all these different things. Of course, that isn't in the news, obviously, but the other stuff is about faulty power lines and everything like that. The other thing that's curious is there was no official evacuation warning until the fires were right at the homes. If you guys don't know, Hawaii has a lot of cities and towns have these, but Hawaii, Maui specifically has a emergency siren for things like this. And it's supposed to be used beforehand so people have enough time to evacuate. Well, that emergency system was not used. There was no warning sirens activated. There's no evacuation warning until the fire was already on the homes, which is especially interesting since there are military installations all over the area that have their own exclusive environmental departments that are designed for this exact situation. Their entire job in these departments at the military bases is to look for things like this so they can hit the emergency siren. It looks like, from what I have found, we have a case of the missing guards from Epstein's cell, where everybody was just out of the room at that moment that the fire just started to go. So I'm not going to say for sure because we don't know, but it really looks like they were told not to hit that siren. That's what it looks like at this moment. Whether they were told to, whether it was a planned thing, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say this is what it is because we don't know. We don't have all the information, but that's fishy to me when you have these military installations that are right there that are supposed to be doing that. Because of this, so far the death toll has hit roughly, I think it went over 100 today. I don't know for sure. But it's hit roughly over 100 people dead, and most of the areas where the fire's at are left unsearched. So they really don't know how many the death toll is. They said they could estimate around 1,000, but we'll see. So that's the first thing I discovered is the warning sirens, the evacuation, the military, environmental departments. None of that activated like it was supposed to. None of it worked like it was supposed to. That's fishy. That's fishy. Looking further, I found a few more interesting things, and we're going to, before we actually go any further, it's time to bust out your tinfoil hat. It's time for the tinfoil hats for this episode. And the first thing we're going to start out with is this. The Hawaii Digital Government Summit that's happening this September in Honolulu. Now, again, I saw information about, screenshots and whatnot of articles talking about how there was a summit in January and whatnot. I could not find verifiable information on a summit that happened in January as far as this goes. That doesn't mean it's not out there. That just means I can't find it, so I'm not going to talk about it. I cannot confirm that. But I did find this that's coming up in September. And so when we talk about this, if we look at the overview for this thing, there's really not much information given as far as this goes. But the overview on it is the Digital Government Summit brings together technology-focused public sector professionals. That's a weird way to word that. With leading industry partners to connect on innovative approaches, get inspired, and discover new technologies. Join us and let's improve the future of government together. Oh, that's cute. If we look at the quote, it says, at the 2023 Hawaii Digital Government Summit, attendees have unique opportunities to share ideas, celebrate best practices, and hear about the latest technology trends. This year's summit will bring together public sector and industry innovators to better understand and navigate these ever-changing and challenging times. I'm excited to hear thought-provoking, inspiring speakers and have meaningful discussions with you all in September. That's from Douglas Murdoch, who's the Chief Information Officer in Hawaii. So with this, starting off the bat, the biggest thing that a lot of people are talking about that's going around, which the stuff I have found really does kind of seem like that's really what's going on, is the idea that this was intentionally started in some way to bring about a smart island. Now, we've seen things like Ukraine. They plan on making Ukraine a digital sector. We're seeing all the things about smart cities that they want to do. This is all confirmed. We know this is what they want to do. And so we're getting some stuff. We're going to go over a few more things that is pointing to the direction of this was intentionally started to bring about the Maui Smart Island. So if we keep going with this, so we find some information about the speakers that are involved on it. We got Governor Josh Green. We've got this other dude who's a Paralympic games silver medalist. He was a Gulf War veteran, motivational speaker. He likes to embrace the new normal mindset, which, yeah, the new normal, that is an entire program in itself. A lot of people think it's just a buzzword, but it's actually a agenda piece, which we'll eventually get to in the End Times New Age series. We're not going to talk about it now, but this Jack Shaw guy is kind of interesting. I've seen his name pop up in a few other places, and he's going to be talking at this place. And if you look at it, he says it says his decades of experience designing, developing, and implementing emerging technologies have given him a deep understanding of how these evolve and are adapted. This experience enables him to speak with unique perspective on such current leading edge technologies as AI, blockchain, 5G, and the Internet of Things, and how individually and collectively they will impact business and society. Now, it's actually kind of interesting because when I went on his website and checked it out, he actually will do 3D hologram speaking events too, where if you hire him and he's not able to actually travel there physically, he will do something from his own studio and it will be projected in a 3D hologram at wherever it's at. So he's definitely fully embracing this. But he's one of the people that's talking at this summit that's coming up. But if we take a look again at some of the agenda that they got going on, again, I know it might be small to read. I'll read it for you guys. I'll point out. You got things coming like transform adversity into advantage, how to conquer life hurdles. That's what that motivational speaker guy. And it says, basically he's going to be talking on adopting a new normal mindset to empower your team to navigate the challenges and opportunities that are coming, to overcome adversity. What is a bigger thing of adversity than burning down half of an island? So that's kind of interesting that's going to be one of the main things that's going to be talked about. Then you've got Bits and Bytes, which is IT consolidation in the state of Hawaii. They've been working on consolidating the executive branch of IT services with the staff of Hawaii, basically training them in the way of being prepared to utilize digital government systems. If we keep going, you've got, that's the right one. Okay. You've got cybersecurity readiness and response, getting that prepared. If you're going to turn an entire island into a smart city or a smart island, you're definitely going to need a team of people who can do cybersecurity. The future of work, which that's exactly what you think it is. It's remote working, digital working, working from home, hybrid environments, all that stuff that they've pushed for the smart cities. As far as that goes, that's going to be with a guy from the Adobe government services. That's kind of interesting. Then we've got real talk about change management. This is making technology more accessible, goes hand in hand with clearly communicating what constitutes need. What we need to do differently if we were at the very beginning of a program instead of cleaning up after a launch. The very beginning of a program. Sounds like the beginning of transforming this island to what they want it to be. If we keep going, is that the next one? Yes, it is. Okay. We've got Bits and Bytes, a modernization journey, the new Hawaii enterprise financial system. So we've got digitizing the government, getting the work prepared for it, overcoming adversity, and now bringing in the new enterprise financial system. And yes, it's exactly what you think. It is a new digital finance system for the entire state of Hawaii. So again, they're pushing in more of that digital stuff around the same time that they burn down half the island. Now, if we keep going, some other stuff that they got right here is digital transformation for government. The future is now. The world of government technology is shifting by the day. The need for dynamic digital transformation and unlocking the power of emerging technologies like AI and the Internet of Things is the future. They want a government run by AI. And again, this is no shock for anybody who pays attention to what's going on with smart cities, because you look at, again, things like the IARPA Haystack program, which is an entire AI big brother that watches over the streets as well as in the government itself, and everything is connected with that. Well, this is exactly what they're talking about, digitizing it using AI and the Internet of Things. So again, they're embracing that And if that's not enough to really stand out, if we take a look at the sponsors for this event, it's as bad as you would think. You got Adobe, Google for Government, Hawaiian Telecom, Oracle, Salesforce. There's your WEF right there. Transform, Hawaii Government, Amazon's there, Cloudflare is there as well, Spectrum Enterprise as well, DocuSign, Microsoft. That's a lot of bad company that is sponsoring this event. So that's what's going on as far as that summit that's coming up next month. And it's just interesting how everything has to do with overcoming the adversity, which that's what they're dealing with, and then bringing in a new financial system, a digital government system, new working opportunities for digital remote work and everything like that. Everything has to do with doing this, as well as they said, at the beginning of something, not cleaning up after launch, but right before you actually get the thing going. So it really seems to be pointing in that direction. That's not enough for me, though, because, I mean, I don't believe in coincidence, but still, it's not enough. So I went back in time a little bit to find out some more information as far as a build-up to this opportunity, to this plan. Never let a crisis go to waste type of thing, but obviously they plan things years in advance before they do it. So if we go back to 2018, straight from the WEF, Future of the Environment, how Hawaii plans to be the first U.S. state to run entirely on clean energy. Clean energy, smart island, they go hand in hand. That's exactly what it's talking about. This is from 2018, straight from the WEF site. So we got the WEF involved with this, clearly, not only in sponsor, but as far as, you know, the plans for Hawaii to do what they're going to do. Well, I also found a few more things here, and here's just a quick little video as far as Hawaii Smart Grid.
Why can't we pull energy out of thin air?
No matter where you go around the world, reducing our impact on the environment and decreasing our dependence on fossil fuels is on everyone's mind. But how do you do it in a way that's going to benefit the most people? That was the question Hitachi asked before initiating the Jump Smart Maui project. This initiative demonstrates how electric vehicles, smart grids, and renewable energy like wind and sun can benefit Maui's residents, and it underlines the positive impact that Hitachi is making on the environment.
It's our future.
So this was in production for a while, because if we go back to 2011, a project called Maui Smart Grid, or it became Jump Smart Maui, and that began in 2011 and started, was commissioned in 2017. So they started this project all the way back in 2011. Then it was finally commissioned in 2017. Then we got the thing from the WEF, but the article about the 2018, where Hawaii plans to be the first U.S. state run by clean energy, smart grid, all that. And then we've got all the things that we got going on. So if we look at Jump Smart Maui, this is a project being done by the U.S. and Japan to demonstrate the smart grid, renewable energy, and all electric vehicle grid on Maui. That was the plan as far as this goes. This was to prepare for a smart island that was run via element-based energy, digital government, and a smart grid run by AI and the Internet of Things. So if we take a look just at a few things, again, it might be too small for you. I will point out the things that I want to point out. This is an article from 2021, Maui Smart Grid Project in the U.S. The Maui Smart Grid Project is a smart grid project located in Maui, Hawaii, United States. The installation of the project began in 2011, and the project was commissioned in 2017. Now, if we jump over to Hitachi website itself, again, it might be too small. This is from 2015 that they released this. And it says, due to increasing demands for renewable energy, Hawaii is in need of an advanced island smart grid. According to the Maui Electric Company, renewable energy currently accounts for 21% of the total energy supply on Maui. The goal of Jump Smart Maui is to demonstrate smart grid technologies that will enable the efficient use of renewable energy and will contribute to the implementation of a low-carbon social infrastructure system in island regions. Social infrastructure system, that's a smart city. They just try and spruce it up, make it fancy. The demonstration site has been designed to respond to rapidly changing demands in the renewable energy market through the use of electric vehicles and other innovative technologies. Operations at the demonstration site are scheduled to continue until March 2015. Again, we know it went until 2017. That's when it was commissioned, and it looks like they're getting ready to start building this thing. Following this period, studies and discussions will be conducted for implementing new business models based on the results and evaluation of the demonstration. And if you look at the actual PDF document itself, we get lovely displays of what they plan on doing with this thing. Again, you might not be able to read that, but it's EV management, the distribution of power to the grid, the different cities they plan on hitting. You can see some of them. Lahaina is one of them as well. There's a bunch of cities out there that they plan on sticking these hubs and these basically the battery hubs in there. Cyber Defense Institute, the Mizuho Bank, and a bunch of universities that are involved with this as well. The Economic Development Board, wind and solar. I mean, it's everything. They are literally trying to create a smart grid, a smart island. And this was all the way back in 2011 that this project actually began, which is just fantastic. Okay, if I can get myself back over. There we go. Hey, I'm back. Okay. Now, the thing is, before you can construct, you have to, of course, demolish. You can't just build over what's already there. You have to destroy what's there. That's the idea of what we're talking about with the global financial system. They have to destroy the financial system in order to bring in the new financial system. You have to destroy the sovereign governments the way that they're doing in order to bring in the one world government, which we're seeing things like that, specifically what's happening in May with the WHO and everything that they're doing. You have to destroy what's there in order to rebuild. And so in order to do that, again, I don't believe that they make moves without first telling us. Specifically, if you get into the Luciferian cult, they are required to tell us what they're going to do beforehand, whether it's through a symbol, whether it's through a news article, whether it's through some type of announcement. They are required to tell us because in their minds, they have to, if they warn you and then they go about and do it anyways, in their mind, the blood's not on their hands, it's on yours because you did not heed their warning. It's a sneaky little thing that they do. That's just how it's always been for them. So, back in 2014, co-executive director of the Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization, which is a nonprofit organization, Elizabeth Pickett, warned that Maui's Lahaina area was at risk of a high risk of wildfire. And this was reported in the Wall Street Journal again in 2014. There's your warning. They warned about it. And look at what's happening now. They are blaming wildfire for the destruction of Lahaina. Obviously, there's a lot more on fire in Maui than just Lahaina. But it's there. And so we've got our warning. We got all this that's going on. And there has been also a major push for research papers regarding AI, remote and digital work, surveillance, and other digital and smart projects from the ID department of the, I don't know if it's Shidler or Scheidler College in Hawaii, who puts on the Hawaii International Conference on System Science. And if you guys don't know, they use these research departments for colleges they use them like think tanks to put out this new stuff. If you look at a lot of the psychology stuff that's out there, I use that as an example because I'm really getting into that type of stuff in the End Times New Age series. But if you look at a lot of the psychology and brain stuff, a lot of it comes from the Harvard psychology and theology departments. And it's they use it again as a think tank, a throughput type of system. And so a lot of the things that they're talking about from the HICSS, which is the Hawaii International Conference on System Science, a lot of the stuff that they are getting their information from has to do with building a smart city. So if we go through just a few of these things, we got one right here. This is from HICSS 2023, which is the mini track AEO of AI. The accountability, evaluation, and obscurity of AI algorithms. This is about bringing in papers that have to do with specifically AI and how to use them, manipulate them, it's the usual stuff that we talk about with they call it ethics of AI and whatnot. But there's other ones that they've had where they've had ones as far as human resources and digital work stuff. Employee relations, they're talking about motivating the future digital workspace, work-life balance and separation, dealing with mental health issues in digitized work, dealing with social isolation in digitized work, dealing with the digital divide, temporary digital work groups, intercultural communication through digital work, distant leadership and management stuff, the implications of AI and algorithmic leadership through the cloud worker, and the digital workers. You just look at all this stuff. Everything is about setting up a remote digital working station for all these businesses and whatnot. Skill development, learning, and talent identification in digital environments. The design of virtual recruiting, establishing human automation resource management in the organization. So there's your AI workforce that's going to be working with the humans. Balancing trust and surveillance in digital work and remote work. That's right, because if you're going to work remotely, we still need to be able to keep tabs on you and making sure that you're doing your job. So we've got to install spyware in your homes to keep track of things. This is how they're going to be doing things. And it doesn't end there. You just keep going. This is another summit that they're having. This is the one on AI. Evaluation of the AI algorithms, methods of evaluating and explaining AI algorithms. This is about teaching people how to use AI. This is part of that new normal agenda that I was talking about. It's an actual agenda, and part of it has to do with new education. And that new education is dealing with, working with, and utilizing AI and digital workspace. And so building up to this point, the HICSS has been just stacking resources, research papers, information through this think tank of setting up the new smart island way of business. Really, that's the best way to put it. It's setting up a new remote, digital, virtual, AI-led digital workspace for Maui. And this has all been leading up to that. So now that wasn't enough for me, because again, that's a lot of stuff, but it wasn't enough. So I wanted to look at some names in some various areas as far as this, because it's always, if you find names, you can usually find some good information that way. So first off, we have some significant names putting up large amounts of money for Maui. And we'll just go ahead and go right here. A couple of names that you guys will know. Yep. We've got Jeff Bezos. He's announcing $100 million fund for the Maui wildfire relief, as well as Priscilla Chan, who is the co-CEO of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. She's the wife of Mark Zuckerberg. Announced in a Facebook post Friday afternoon that the couple donated an undisclosed amount to the Hawaii Community Foundation and encouraged others to follow suit. But Zuckerberg and Chan have previously donated or pledged approximately $25 million to the Hawaii Community Foundation as well. So we've got $100 million coming from Bezos, Amazon, who again is sponsoring the Digital Government Summit for Hawaii. And then you've got Zuckerberg, who has an undisclosed amount on top of their $25 million as well. So my question again is this actually for the people, or is this money there to help develop the new smart island of Maui? Is that really where it's going to? That's my question. So we've got some questionable names that are donating quite a bit of money to rebuild Maui, especially since we're seeing some things that's pointing to the direction of rebuilding Maui into the smart island. So that wasn't enough there, though. This next name is interesting. Now, this one might be coming out of left field, but I still think it's quite important. If we take a look at the police chief of Maui, you might not recognize the name, but I can tell you where he's from. In December of 2021, Maui's police chief, John Pelletier, became the police chief. So he took the helm in December of 2021. This is a curious name because this is the same guy who led the area command of the Las Vegas Strip during the October 1st, 2017 mass shooting. This is the guy who was in charge when that mass shooting took place on the Vegas Strip. You guys remember that? This is the same guy. That's pretty interesting how devastation seems to be following this man. It's not just him, though. Deputy Chief, he brought along Deputy Chief Charles Hank, who was also from his unit in Vegas. So it's fascinating how both of these guys are both involved with these huge, we'll just say policy-changing events. We'll just put it that way. But I saved the best for last. That's, I wasn't done with that. Save the best for last. If I can bring me back here. There we go. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting one with that guy. Best for last. Maui's largest landowner is a real estate company called Alexander and Baldwin. Again, you may not have ever heard of this company. Hang with me. Alexander and Baldwin, they currently own 55,000 acres of land on the island, so they are the largest landowner in Maui. Alexander and Baldwin also comes in second to the state of Hawaii, who has, I think, 165,000 acres of land holdings. But Alexander and Baldwin comes in second to them with Maui land holdings with 65,000 acres. So they're number one for Maui landowners, and they're number two in land holdings for Maui as well. Now the question is, who owns Alexander and Baldwin? That's the question everybody wants to know. Why am I talking about this random company? Well, if you take a look at the stockholders of Alexander and Baldwin, the three names that I always tell people to pay attention to: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. That's the big three. And there they go. They are the largest holders. BlackRock's got 18.75%, Vanguard's got 16.32%, and State Street's got 5.75%. Those are the big three, and they are the top dogs who own Alexander and Baldwin, so they pretty much own Maui. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Interesting. There's a whole lot of suspicious characters and events rolling around in Maui right now. Things are not adding up. And like I said, there are other things, other videos and other tweets and reports and articles and everything going around with information I can't verify, so I'm not even going to bring those up. I'm not going to play the speculation game. These are the things that I have found that are true. These are things that are happening, have happened, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, all the stuff I showed you guys. And again, it seems to be pointing in the direction of this was intentionally done, especially when you look at the fact of that military just decided not to pull the trigger on the emergency warning, which got a lot of people stuck and a lot of people dead. Which, that's always curious. But now, I know some people, I got one last thing on this. I know some people might laugh when it comes to this, but part of my research always has to do with checking the fact checkers. It's a good indication of, you don't want to rely solely on it, but at the same time, it's also a good verifiable verification process that I use. So I always check the fact checkers just to see what they're saying about this. And one of the big ones is PolitiFact. And if we check PolitiFact, Instagram post from August 11th, 2023 says Maui fires are part of an intentional effort to rebuild the island into a smart city. And they say false. If the fact checkers say false, there's usually something there. And so I use that in my research to confirm things. Again, if the fact checkers go in the way of false, there's usually, not always, but there's usually something there. So I did that as well. So this is what we got going on with the fire. This is the stuff that I've found, I've verified, that I can go off of. Again, I'm not going to speculate, but from what I have seen, going all the way back to 2011, this has been a plan in motion. They warned us in 2014. The military did not pull the emergency siren when they were supposed to. The government is sitting there. They can't verify anything. You look at who owns what there. You look at who's donating what there. You look at all the research that's coming through that HICSS, the summits that's going on. It sure seems like there is a plan to do something with the island of Maui. And so I think it's definitely something to pay attention to from here on out. Again, try not to get caught up in information that you can't verify. Like I said, there's a lot. I've seen tons of videos where people are sitting there throwing out all this stuff, but I don't know who that person is. I don't know where they got that information from. I don't know. I can't verify any of it. It's just be careful. Be careful what you see or what you believe and what you share on this, because we don't need a bunch of false information going out there. It doesn't help anybody. Certainly doesn't help the people who watch prophecy, because for those who do put all this information out there, verifiable information, and then there's a whole bunch of information getting put on top that's unverified, and it comes to be that it wasn't true, that just hurts us in our effort of trying to get people to Jesus. Because ultimately, that is our point of why we watch this prophecy. That is why our point of using this as a tool to witness to people, to try and draw people to the Lord. And if we've got a bunch of bad information coming out there, that doesn't help our case. It doesn't. It actually works against us, and Satan's wanting that. So just be careful. I always warn people, be careful about the information that you share. Make sure you verify it. And when I say verify it, I mean, don't just put it into Google, find the first thing that pops up on Twitter and go, okay, verified. Take some time. Take some time. It takes effort to research things, but it's worth it. Especially if that's going to be a tool that is used to bring somebody to Christ. That's where we need to be putting our effort, is in that. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, that's all I got on the fire stuff. I don't know. Something fishy going on there. I'm just saying. Definitely something fishy. Okay. Now, we're going to move on. When it comes to smart technology, it's going to be kind of the theme. When it comes to smart technology, we know one of the most effective but evil ways of locking someone down is through health. Basically, through their own body. We can have all the smart city stuff going on, but honestly, the most effective way of keeping tabs, of tracking, of controlling, of locking somebody down is by doing it through their own body, because you can't really get out of your own body. And so that's the best way. Lock somebody in their own body, make their body their own prison type of thing. So I've talked about ARPA-H in the past. ARPA-H, or some people call it HARPA. Not HARP, the weather thing. No, HARPA-H. And I've talked about it in the past, and they just put out an announcement for their SHARE program. Not Cher the singer, but share as in sharing is caring. They just put out a thing regarding their share program, which stands for Scaling Health Applications Research for Everyone. So if we take a look, this is their announcement that they put out. Scaling Health Applications Research for Everyone. Sharing is caring. Oh, it's the sharing is caring. But if we take a look at this thing, in the description, it says, this is a broad agency announcement. The Advanced Research Project Agency for Health, ARPA-H, seeks to adapt Department of Defense and other related government entities, I'm having a hard time reading that for some reason, and other related government entities' health innovations more broadly to all Americans. Just hang with me, I'll explain all this as in due time. For example, pediatric and geriatric populations would benefit from many underlying innovations, but cannot use them out of the box, quote unquote. These branch projects developed for this BAA, broad agency announcement, would identify and address the unique technical challenges inherent in translating this work to include dosage, form factor, and manufacturing capacity. Proposals should demonstrate prior success and detail the specific technical work required to tailor these solutions. Just hang with me, I'll explain this, but I just want you to have an understanding of their own announcement first. ARPA-H's mission is to accelerate better health outcomes for all America. Oh man, we got comedy tonight. This BAA, Scaling Health Applications Research for Everyone, SHARE, seeks to capitalize on and expand existing government research and development investments. Those innovations are often, but not limited to, those developed by the Department of Defense. Inside the DoD, the Defense Research Agency, Projects Agency, that's DARPA. I know ARPA-H sounded pretty close to DARPA. It's the Health Department of DARPA. And is an exemplar model for this type of information. Because as we know, DARPA is the exemplar model for accelerating better health outcomes for Americans. Oh yeah. SHARE, again, sharing is caring, not the singer, extends health innovations or innovations from other domains that could be adapted to health to accelerate better health outcomes more broadly. In the DoD context, these innovations are developed to support a specific population, the warfighter, so it's usually developed for military. Under SHARE, these technologies would be adapted to other populations such as pediatric and geriatric or people. So that's their announcement. I wanted to read the whole thing so you got what they're putting out. And I'll explain what's going on. To put it simply, ARPA-H, who is the health arm of DARPA, is looking to take DARPA technology that is built for military soldiers and apply it and bring it to all of American citizens. And yes, that's as scary as it sounds. Again, if you don't know ARPA-H, they are the DARPA for health. And here's just a small introduction of ARPA-H. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Talking about printing new organs and creating pills that have nanobots in them that will be released and do surgery inside the body. And as we know, this is kind of a double confirmation on that because they're working on a material, a liquid robotic material that will go into the body and construct itself within you to perform surgery. So they call it non-invasive surgery. So they are working on this type of technology, and this is stuff that HARPA is working on, or ARPA-H is working on. Now, to kind of go through this, what the SHARE program is, every time I say SHARE, I just think of the singer. It's not the singer. Okay, what the SHARE program does is to connect DARPA technology designed for the military and make it broadly available for civilian use. Obviously, we know there's a much more diabolical plan here. Anytime DARPA is involved with anything, anytime government organizations like that are involved with anything, it's always bad news. There's always an agenda behind what they're doing. DARPA is just not a group to be trusted. Now, quick history on ARPA. Again, I've talked about them in the past, so I'm not going to go in depth, but just a quick history of ARPA-H in case you don't know them. ARPA-H really took form back in 2019. So they've always been kind of involved with DARPA before that, but this is when they became a form, an entity type of thing. So they're relatively new. But ARPA-H really took form back in 2019. It came to be through the former vice chair of GE, of General Electric, and the former president of NBC Universal, Robert Wright, who he introduced his plan for this to Trump because they were good friends. It was known as Safe Home. So this was Robert Wright's thing, and he called it Safe Home after the death of his wife. At the time, it was known as Safe Home at the time, and the paperwork would consist of medical wearables and implants that would connect to the Internet of Things and monitor the health of individuals as well as their brain activity. So what Safe Home was eventually became ARPA-H, and the idea was to create wearables like your Fitbit and your Apple Watch and everything that monitors your health. You can have it monitor your health, to create things like that would monitor health as well as brain activity. It wants to know what's going on up in your noggin. This information that it collected would be analyzed by AI and would go as far as watching for neuropsychiatric violence, ultimately creating a pre-crime watch system controlled by AI. So under the guise of monitoring your health, what they're doing is they're creating a wearable that will connect to the Internet of Things that would be ran by AI and would analyze your health and your brainwave activity to determine if you were going to commit a violent act. This was a sneaky way through utilizing it's better for your health, but in actuality, it's AI monitoring a pre-crime system. So that's what this is. So when you're talking about ARPA-H developing these little robot things, as well as printing organs and whatnot, all that stuff is there to connect to the Internet of Things, to monitor you, to monitor your body. This project was then hooked up into DARPA via the lead scientific advisor of DARPA, who was Jeffrey Ling. So this guy, basically, just to kind of put it this way, Robert Wright brought Safe Home to Trump, then Trump took it to DARPA, teamed Robert Wright up with Ling from DARPA, and then they created ARPA-H from it. So that's how that path goes. This became a part of the Department of Justice's pre-crime program that was called DEEP, which is called DEEP because it's still there, and that was headed up by none other than William Barr. He basically took the reins of creating a pre-crime system program for the United States that's still active today. And it's part of that is ARPA-H and the Safe Home project. With this in mind, remember that DARPA are the same people behind things like the internet. That's right. In case you guys didn't know, DARPA was the one who basically created the internet. It was formerly known as ARPANET. DARPA also created GPS systems, so the Google Maps and the Waze system and Apple Maps and everything on your phone, that was DARPA as well. They're utilizing that to keep track of you, of course, as well as AI assistants like Alexa, Cortana, and Siri. That's right. That stuff was also DARPA as well. They just feed it into the Silicon Valley companies, and they put it out there for them to use. See how all that works? They're all friends. It's all one big club. DARPA has got their slimy claws all over the place and a lot of things that you guys don't even realize. Crazy, right? Now, the program I want to point out from ARPA-H is the REM REST program, or we'll just say REM, the REM REST program. REM REST stands for Rapid Eye Movement Restoration and Enhancement for Sleep-Deprived Trauma Adaptation. I'll say it one more time because I know that's them and their titles love to be long. REM REST stands for Rapid Eye Movement Restoration and Enhancement for Sleep-Deprived Trauma Adaptation. The goal, so they say, because you always got to take what they say with a grain of salt, is to, and this is their own quote, identify neural mechanisms and demonstrate the ability to modulate REM sleep that improves stress adaptation and traumatic memory consolidation. Simply put, because I know people are probably like, huh? Simply put, they're trying to block PTSD and other traumatic memories from coming loose during sleep, which can then interrupt your REM sleep. So what they're trying to do is block the bad dreams from interrupting your sleep. That's what they're saying. So simply put, they're trying to block certain dreams from coming loose and active when you're sleeping. So that right there sounds sketchy already, but here's where it gets really sketchy. Coming out of MIT in 2020, they presented a device called Dormio. This is a quote from MIT. We present a novel protocol using a new wearable I'm going to start that over. Me and my speech. Here we go. We present a novel protocol using a new wearable electronic device, Dormio, to automatically generate serial auditory dream incubations at sleep onset, wherein targeted information is repeatedly presented during the hypnagogic period, enabling direct incorporation of this information into dream content, a process we call targeted dream incubation. I'll explain it. Again, I just want you guys to hear the words coming out of their own mouth. I think it's good for everybody to know that. I'll explain this. Basically, while the DARPA REM REST program, or ARPA-H REM REST program, doesn't specifically mention the word dreams, both REM REST and this MIT Dormio project are working on the same thing. What it is their guided thoughts during your sleep. They're trying to guide your thoughts while you sleep. This is about hacking into someone's mind when they're sleeping and guiding what they think and dream about. This comes straight from MIT, and this should really explain to you what all is involved with this. Basically, how it works is you set up a computer with a little sensor thing on your hand when you sleep. And basically, the sensors measure the changes in your heart rate, your skin conductance, and your muscle tone. So it tracks basically when you're sleeping, how you're sleeping, et cetera, et cetera. And what it does is the computer speakers provide auditory stimulation, so they provide sounds to guide dreams towards specific topics. And the computer microphone records the spoken dream reports. So they're trying to get people to speak what they're dreaming, so it records it. And so these are programs that are going to be guiding what you're thinking about when you sleep. We've talked about a few different aspects of this. I'll mention them a little bit later. But this isn't good. This is in line with trying to control dreams and thought patterns. That's ultimately what this is. There we go. This is about trying to not only determine what you're dreaming and block out the bad thoughts. This is a way of implementing new thoughts and new dreams. So in turn, this is also the ability to manipulate and implant new dreams, implant new memories. You're getting into the point of messing with someone's own belief system within them through sleep. And this is where we reach the interesting predictive programming style of things. So, show of hands. How many of y'all have ever seen the movie Inception or have seen the movie Total Recall? Because this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to plant dreams, or if you're in Inception, planting a dream within a dream, which I wouldn't be surprised if they're already working on that. Predictive programming is a very, very real thing. They always tell us what they're going to do. And then you've got Total Recall, where you strap into this thing and you're living an entirely different life with a new personality, and you can't even tell if you're in reality or not. This is what they're working on. They've probably already got it going, which we do know they already got it going, because if you take a look back at the CIA gateway process back in the 1980s, going back to the 1950s, they were already working on ways to get the hemisync, getting your left and right side of your brain to sync together so you can astral project. So this is stuff that they have been working on for a very, very long time. So you've got this, and now if you add in the Pentagon's NEAT program, which stands for Neural Evidence Aggregation Tool, if you add in the NEAT program, it is built to focus on aggregating preconscious brain signals to determine what someone believes is true. So this program is built to try and read someone's mind to see what they believe is actually true. So if you take that information and you apply it to the REM rest program, you can then change what somebody believes through their sleep. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing a lot of ways this can be used in this beast system that's coming around. I don't know how they plan on getting it out there. I'm sure they'll have advertising things where it's, to get this brain implant or get this wearable thing, and when you sleep, you'll have these types of dreams, and you'll have this types of dreams, and you'll be able to live this life, and you'll be able to live that life. Or if they want to try and strap it into the goggles that you wear for the metaverse or the Apple View Pro or whatever it's called, you can start adding this technology into these different programs to start manipulating minds, planting new memories, changing what people believe, changing entire personalities, utilizing this type of technology, which is, again, I'm under the firm belief that whatever they're showing us now, again, they're just now putting this out there, this share program, they're at least 10 years advanced behind the scenes that we don't get to see. That's my firm belief. So to me, I believe they've already got this up and running, and they've got something maybe more complicated after that. So you have the tool set to hack a brain to alter dreams, memories, and what somebody believes. Now, the thing is, do you guys remember that term, hackable humans? Hackable humans, Klaus Schwab has said it. You've all know Harari has said it. Nita Farahani has said it. All these people, all these big wig talking heads, people at the WEF have all said this. We are nothing but hackable humans. They can hack into the brain. It's just more data. It's like a computer system that they can just hack into, and then we can plug into the cloud god, as they would say. The thing is they already have soft versions of things out there like this already. So many TV shows, movies, and music has built-in frequencies of not only sound, but light as well. There's certain ways of using light flashes and whatnot that will soften the brain receptors in order to take in a certain message. Now, I've talked about this a lot when it comes to the modern day worship services. that's going on when you use certain lights, you use certain frequencies and chord progressions, you use certain song structures, and you can manipulate the brain to be more receptive, to basically shut down the security system, to bring the walls down, to bring the guard down on somebody's brain. After you do this, in order to receive a message that's being put up there, Satan utilizes this. That's Satan's greatest tool. You got to remember, he is the prince of the power of the air, frequencies. That's what he does. He was also the worship angel. So take frequencies, apply it to music. You've got one of the biggest tools out there in order to start messing with people's minds. You take a look at, again, the sound frequency stuff. You got the CIA gateway process that uses the frequencies to get people's brains on the same frequency, to astral project. This is scientifically developed stuff. This isn't just random stuff that you find in a tabloid out there or you find on some fringe website or something. This is actually scientifically built stuff that is being used everywhere. Movies, TV shows, secular music, Christian music, in churches, in the government, in hospitals, therapy. They utilize this stuff all over. Even just go on YouTube and type in just type in things like meditation frequency or whatnot. There are frequencies out there that you can find for meditative purposes, which will get your brain on a certain level to do this. It's crazy. And so this is a real thing that's going on. So this is why I always give, and I know I'm going to rub some people the wrong way and hurt some feelings. I know that, but this is just how it goes. This is why I give such strong warnings about people who claim to have prophetic dreams. This is one of the reasons why. Our brains are quite easily manipulated, that even reading, watching, or listening to a certain subject before you go to bed can then manipulate your brain to have a dream about that certain subject. And so now imagine if you're... I always say, how many times have you watched a movie or a TV show before you went to bed, and then that night you had a dream about that? How many of us watch all these different prophetic things, read all these prophetic things throughout the day, and you end up dreaming that stuff, and then you think it's something from God when it could just be your mind doing something, or I think a lot of times it's a bad spirit. Now imagine if something is feeding and controlling that intake during your sleep. Now imagine you're hooked up to this thing that's feeding you specific thoughts and memories and beliefs. You're going to then start to take that stuff on. It's the same thing. This brain monitoring technology is already here. And it's here in, at least for the public, in wearable things. We understand that they're working on invasive stuff as well. BlackRock Neurotech, Neuralink, Synchron, all this stuff is doing that. And so here's a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. First off, I've played this before, but I'm going to play it again. This is a presentation by Nita Farahani talking about what these wearable things can do. Not what they will do in the future, but what they actually do. Check this out.
We're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits for your brain. It used to be that there was very little we could tell from EEG activity. But already, using consumer wearable devices, these are headbands, hats that have sensors that can pick up your brainwave activity, earbuds, headphones, tiny tattoos that you can wear behind your ear. We can pick up emotional states like, are you happy or sad or angry? We can pick up and decode faces that you're seeing in your mind. Simple shapes, numbers, your PIN number to your bank account.
So we got her talking about these wearables that can see the faces that you're seeing, can understand shapes and numbers, even your own bank PIN number to your own bank account. They're able to pick up all this stuff. We've talked about how now AI is able to plug into what a person is seeing and then use AI art to develop it. We talked about that with that technology, the humane technology convention where those guys were talking about how they hooked them up to these things, and somebody was looking at a picture of a giraffe, and the AI determined what they were looking at and then used AI art to create that. They've already got this technology here. It's already here. You can do that. And if you don't believe me, if we even go back to 2009, it's already being used in China on the kids.
红色是表示你的专注力显示得很高，
Teachers at this primary school in China
蓝色是走神了，
know exactly when someone isn't paying attention.
白色就是你可能跟网络还没有连接好。
These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like.
做出选择吧 Good job!
Classrooms have robots that analyze students' health and engagement levels. Students wear uniforms with chips that track their locations. There are even surveillance cameras that monitor how often students check their phones or yawn during classes.
So I think I said 2009, but I meant 2019 that's there. So it's already been actively being used in China in 2019. I'm sure that there's other countries that are utilizing it too, or even individual schools here in America that utilize this stuff as well that I just don't know about at this moment in time. But this stuff is already here, and they're using it to register brain stuff. I already know in China as well that the train yard workers, they wear special hard hats that have that headband thing in them and will automatically send alerts to the operational control if a person is too tired on the job, and they'll pull them off the job because it's registering the brain function. So the person might say, oh no, I'm good to go. But if that thing is saying that no, they're too tired, they'll pull them off because of that. So this is something that's already actively being used. So while, again, most people will call this stuff science fiction, they'll say, oh, this is just in movies and whatnot, and it's not going to happen. The fact is, it's actually reality, and it's been happening. This isn't stuff that's coming. This isn't stuff that's going to happen. This isn't stuff that they're just developing. This is stuff that is already here, already being used, even on kids in school. This is a reality of what is actually happening in our world today. Brain scanning and manipulation has been happening for hundreds of years. It's just the technology for it has advanced. The simple side of it is when the newspaper comes out, you're starting to manipulate somebody's mind. People think it's reading the news, but in actuality, what it is we're telling you what to believe. You look at things like history books, textbooks in school, Encyclopedia Britannica. You look at that's the Wikipedia. All of that stuff is written in a certain way to get you to believe in that type of direction. Winners, the victors, whoever you want to say, they are the ones that write the history books. And they will always write them in a way that they want you to believe. Even if it's a blatant lie or altered truth, they're still going to utilize that to get you to believe in a certain way. That's why you still have people out there that believe and talk about how this Ukraine war is an actual real war that isn't being manipulated or orchestrated in some type of way, when in actuality, it's completely orchestrated and everybody involved is all on the same plan. But they still don't want to believe that. Just imagine when all this stuff comes out, hey, check out this cool sleeping thing. It'll help you sleep. It'll take away the bad dreams, and we'll even let you have some cool dreams. Come and grab it. How many people are going to sign up for that? There's going to be a lot. To you and me, we might go and wow, why would anybody fall for that? But to a lot of people, to most of the world, they look at that and go, that's sweet. I want that. This is just the reality that we're in right now. And the next step for them is to connect to the human neural networks to their quantum networks. And they're already working on that. They want to strap our brain networks utilizing this technology and connect it to the quantum network. You want to talk about a beast system. That's what that is. We're not going to talk about that, though. That's an entire thing on its own, so we're not going to talk about that. But this is the reality of what we're seeing today. These aren't things that are coming. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a comic book. This isn't, 10, 20 years down the road, they might have something like this. This is stuff that's already here. It's brain manipulation. It's not just brain reading, but now it's brain manipulation. It's implanting new ideas and entirely new belief systems. I'm sure they're going to get to the point of installing new personalities into people. And again, you want to look at something like the movie Inception or Total Recall. We're coming to it, if it hasn't already been here yet. And I always point that in the direction of, we've got all this technology. It's moving so fast. What they have behind the scenes is at least 10 years ahead of what we see now. We're on a fast train, a really, really fast train to surpassing the technology and revelation, and we know that's not going to happen. And so all that does is point us in the direction that the rapture is right around the corner. And so not only should that give us hope, we shouldn't be afraid of this stuff. We shouldn't be panicked by this stuff. We shouldn't go lay down in the corner in the fetal position and start sucking our thumb. No, we should be using that as fire of going, well, we're almost out of here. So now we need to start getting Jesus to people as much as we possibly can. Don't be afraid to stand out as the weirdo. Don't be afraid to stand out as Looney Tunes. Because while you may be talking to somebody who's going to blow you off, there could be somebody over there that's listening that's who all along that God wanted you to witness to, just not in a direct way that you thought. Don't be afraid to speak about these things. Don't be afraid to say the name of Jesus. Don't be afraid to witness to the random person that you come across in the grocery store, at a restaurant, or at your job. Well, be careful at your job, because I know there's a lot of jobs that might fire you for that, but do the best you can. There's no time to waste now. This is not the time to relax. This is not the time to put on the stretchy pants, grab the bag of Cheetos, and just chill out on the couch watching TV until the rapture comes. No, this is the time to put on the armor, grab the sword, and start fighting. And when I mean fight, I mean get people to Jesus. That's what I mean. So if you're watching this, you're a tinfoil hat wearer, but you don't know the Lord, and you want to know the Lord. It's really nothing complicated about it. It's pretty simple. Simple as ABC. It's a childlike faith, a childlike trust. And it's a beautiful thing. Don't put it off. A is you admit that you're a sinner. It's coming to the Lord with a repentant heart, knowing that you fall short, knowing that you have sinned, and that you need Jesus Christ, the only one who can save. He says it. I am the way to the Father. No one gets to him except through me. I am the narrow way. You believe that he can save you from your sin. So you admit that you fall short. You admit that you are a sinner. And the first step, and that is repentance right there. That's the first step, is knowing you messed up. And you need Jesus to save you. Because if you don't admit that you have sinned, if you don't admit that you need a Savior, how can you properly, truly believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior? You can't. You have to have that first step. B is you believe in Jesus. Now, this is not something where you just read the story, you know the story, you recite the sinner's prayer, and you go about your day. No, knowing and believing are two very different things. And this is between you and God. Between you and God alone. And you must believe that Jesus Christ is the one and only Son of God, that he came down to earth 100% man and 100% God. He lived the perfect life, and that he died on the cross, and on the third day, defeating death, he rose again to save you. You believe in him. You believe in that. Again, knowing and believing, two very different things. And C is you call upon the Lord. I attach that to that prayer where you say, Lord Jesus, I have sinned. I have fallen short. And I need you, Jesus, to save me. I know that you came and you died, and you rose again for me. And I ask that you come into my life, you come into my heart, and you save me, Lord Jesus. And if you truly believe in him, you will be saved. And all of this crazy sci-fi sounding technology that's going to be used in some way or another in the beast system, on the other side of that rapture, you don't have to worry about it. You can take comfort in knowing that you have the blessed hope, the promise of Jesus, that he is going to rapture you out of here before this junk starts to take a firm hold on this world. It's already taken a hold now. But when that rapture happens and the restrainer's gone, all hell is going to break loose on this planet. And you do not want to be here for it. Trust me. Again, people really like to sugarcoat what's going to happen. But it's going to be horrifying, because you're going to have a mix of Satan in full control of this earth with hell, literal hell, being unleashed at the same time. God is just unleashing a wrath that our minds can't comprehend, all at the same time. You do not want to be caught in the middle of that crossfire. I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty. Get to Jesus today. If you know somebody that doesn't have the Lord, you need to, can't beat them over the head with the Bible. That doesn't help, but man, just be praying for them and plant that seed. Plant that seed, I'll tell you what. All right, looks like we got one question here from Melissa Bourne, who says, what is Japan's role? So this is with the Maui thing. Locals said power was out and line was down, and power came back on, and winds were coming off the mountain, not the ocean. Thoughts? I have no idea about what's going on in Japan. I know Japan is involved with the U.S. on that Jumpstart Maui program, but as far as what's going on in Japan, I don't have a clue. So I'm not going to pretend like I know. Sorry, I cannot answer that for you. Thank you for asking, though. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for being here. If you guys can, usual spiel, like, share, subscribe. Get this out to as many people as you can. Not about views, not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people, getting people to Jesus and Jesus to people. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. That is what we need to be doing right now. That is what we are commanded to do in this generation. We are to be busy with the Lord's work. Warn people of what is coming, so the blood is not on your hands. That's part of the job of the watchman. And warning people of what is coming can be a massive tool for getting people to Jesus. Look at what happened during 2020. Utilize that. Utilize it. I'm telling you, it works. And if you have to pull someone across that line, kicking and screaming, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just get them across that line. Be busy in the Lord's work. Share Jesus with somebody every single day. Also, if you guys can, follow me, Rumble, Odyssey, Telegram. When I get booted off YouTube, might be for this one, for talking about the Maui thing. Who knows? I'll be back up live streaming on Rumble, so follow me there. Odyssey, hopefully I never have to use it, but if you got it, follow me there as well, and follow me on Telegram, because if I do get booted off YouTube, I can't tell you guys on YouTube. So I'll let you guys know on Telegram what's going on. And so follow me there. Also, if the Lord places upon your heart and you would like to support this ministry, I do have donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, Give, Send, Go. Truly appreciate all of the support from you guys and your prayers as well. Thank you for your prayers. I truly appreciate that. And I think that's it. So thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for being with me today. And remember, Saturday, part 4 of End Times New Age. It's a really good series. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm kind of biased because it's my own series, but hopefully you guys are too, and we're really getting into things. So join me for that on Saturday, Lord willing, if we're not raptured out of here, and then I pray that we are. But if not, join me then. And that's it. So you guys have a great week. Share somebody with Jesus. Or share Jesus with somebody. Wow. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Peace out. Maranatha.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.